What's up, everyone? It's me, Blue Sirens. I'm gonna be spending the next couple of months in San Diego, and I'm gonna be exploring a bit. So I thought, let's make a travel vlog channel for what I'm up to in San Diego. And this weekend, I went to Mo Records. It was their second anniversary, so they had a lot of vinyl tapes. They had some in DJing, and you were able to get like a free tote if you bought something, and you also got 15% off vinyl. And of course, they had different DJs spinning throughout the time in the store. Now, this was a small vinyl shop, record shop. It's inside the Liberty Public Market. So like they're kind of confined by space, but I was surprised by how much stuff they have. They have a ton of singles. As you can see, I'm digging through this box here, and I'm actually really starting to get into the idea or the mindset of wanting to collect single records like this. If you've watched other videos on my channel, you know that I have a couple of singles from the Superman movie, and then I also have the single, the blue one, from Fantastic Four that has the Fantastic Four soundtrack. And that's just a fun thing, I think, for me to have those songs that are unique to those movies on those little single discs for vinyl, because it's fun. It's super easy to display. They're small, they're portable, they don't get in the way. They're not as big as a vinyl, so you can display several of them in a frame or around your office, around your house. And the fact for me, because I'm so into comic books, that it's just like a cool crossover and blend between music and comics and movies at the same time. So I thought, you know what, let's dig through what they have here in singles, see if there's anything that kind of speaks out to me, anything I'd want to display around my house. And the singles were cool. There were some good tracks that I found in here, but for me, one of the things that makes the other singles I have so cool and unique to kind of display around my house is you have the full artwork. And here it's kind of just a sleeve, which, you know, maybe the artwork or the sleeve that had the artwork was deteriorated, so they got rid of that, and they just put in this for safekeeping. Now, there are some that did have some artwork in like the original sleeve, and you can see here that they have some pretty cool hip-hop ones. And I thought about getting one of these, but you'll see later on what I did get and why I'm glad I got it. So for now, I thought it was a good idea just to pass on doing any of those singles instead. But as you can see next, we moved on to the CDs, because they also had quite a bit of CDs too. But for me, CDs, like, I feel like it's a little bit harder to come across a way to play a CD. Like, the only place I think I could ever listen to a CD right now is maybe in my car. And I don't feel like CDs have, like, necessarily a quality of the material that adds to the flavor of the music per se. Like with vinyl, you kind of get sometimes like a higher quality, or you get that vinyl scratch or that grit to it. Tape, you kind of get some of that tape distortion over time. It kind of changes the sound, and that's a really cool thing to have too. But for CDs, for me, there's just not really anything in a CD that affects like the quality of the sound to where it makes it, I don't know, feel like cool and unique. So for me, looking through these CDs, it was more of a trip down memory lane, and also just a way of thinking like, man, there's some people here that are still making CDs for their newest releases, because it's been a while since I've seen a CD be sold or a CD bought in a store. Now, I did see that there was this Czarface and MF Doom CD, and I've actually been listening to that album a lot this past week, so I was really tempted to pick that up. But Czarface also has a comic book out too, so it was tough. It was a tough call to decide. Do I want to get the Czarface CD, or do I want to get the Czarface comic book? And I think I'm going to end up getting the comic book. But not only did this shop have CDs, but they also have books on music. So for anybody that wanted to learn more about music or do a biography of music, they had a whole bunch of books here, which sometimes you have to go like Barnes and Noble. You don't always think about having books about music in a record store, even though I feel like that kind of just makes sense to do that. I dug through quite a bit of vinyls as well while I was there. There were a lot of vinyls that were new, some of them were old. I even came across a couple of video game soundtracks that are vinyls. And I feel like that's something that's coming back as a trend. We're starting to see a lot more soundtracks from video games go onto vinyls, which I think is cool. But also I think opens up another door that people haven't talked about too much, which is getting a sample from a video game soundtrack to use in your own music. And that's something that's kind of tough to do in general because most video game companies are pretty strict with how their music can be used and licensed. So it's tough to sometimes be able to sample it and get it approved. But if you have the vinyl and you just make some beats for yourself, or you put it on social media, it could blow up. And then at that point in time, you're able to maybe get that cleared or approved or something, or at least get some recognition out there to where you're able to get some samples pulled from other vinyls in the future. There was also this really cool area where you could grab cassettes. There's some really cool cassettes here that I found. You can see right here, I'm getting the MF Doom Herbs and Special tape. It's split into two different tapes. There's that volume, and then there's this one right here, volume 1 and 2, which I love this yellow color on this cassette, and I actually ended up getting it. Now, I just got a cassette player to kind of do some effects with it for music, so it's kind of getting a second life by being able to listen to some cassettes with it as well. And there were quite a few artists on here that I was kind of surprised that they've got a cassette, like Lana Del Rey's Born to Die. This is an album that I really like, and there's also just something really cool and unique about holding a cassette. Like, this cartridge only works in a tape machine, in a tape player. And so, I don't know, there's a little bit of power, almost, it kind of feels like when you have something that, like, you plug it in, you play it, and then you get to unleash a cool and creative world through that tape. After that, I went to the Bookstar. This is an old movie theater that was turned into a Barnes & Noble. And I have to say, they did an excellent job of preserving what that movie theater felt like. Like, you can see up here at the front, that's probably where they sold candy and concessions. And as you walk further into the bookstore, you feel like you're still inside that movie theater. You can see here, like, it also has like that kind of 90s, early 2000s library vibes, like how they have it set up with the really tall bookshelves and the neon on the side and like the genres on the top. So I don't know, this was just a really cool bookstore. I honestly liked it so much that I'm gonna have to come back here to get a couple of books, and hopefully I can just find a quick spot to sit down and read a couple of books, because this was pure childhood for me. This is very nostalgic. This felt exactly like what it felt like to go into a library when I was a kid and just pick up some books and just get lost in reading for hours and forget what time it is. So Bookstar in the Liberty Public Market, I have to say, was a successful weekend trip.